Palma. Oh,
Oh, man.
pass. That's unfair, man. Palma, 7 points in the game. To Del Fuentes.
Oh, wow.
Lugano takes the shot and knocks it down. Malonia is open. 3-pointer. Oh, my goodness!
Face a jumper by Robin Celis.
Caballero has tied.
Just posterized by Scott. It's a brand new week in the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, and with the All-Star festivities next Saturday and the end of the regular season inside, the race to the playoffs continues to heat up here at nagbabalik po tayo sa Kamalig in Orion, Bataan. It's National Heroes Day at it's a holiday today in the MPBL, but these two teams, it's been quite a challenge dito sa Bulacan Cuyas and Manila Batang Quiapo as they search for that elusive win in our first game. Our second game is between the Basilan Star Horse kalaban ng Ilagan Isabela 5-Star Cowboys. In our main game, the One Bataan Risers will host the Parañaque Patriots. Magandang hapon mga kaliga. Ken Panglinan with Javi Palanya. At courtside, we have Miss Lyra Punsalan. Javi, Manila, Parañaque officially eliminated. Bulacan, pag matalo dito, magiging kabilang din sila doon. Pero yung mga teams kagaya ng Ilagan, Isabela, Basilan, and Bataan, may pinaglalabanan pa dito.
Tama ka dyan. Kaya importante pa rin yung mga games natin mamaya, especially that game between Basilan and Ilagan. You know, those two teams have been a night and day this season. So it will be fun to watch that matchup later on, especially with two teams really trying to aim for certain spots in their own divisions. While itong Bataan, they will continue their search for a spot in the play-in with that crucial game against Parañaque later on in our main game.
You're watching us live on our official MPBL YouTube channel and also later on Solar Sports at 6 p.m. and nasa pusop.com din po tayo. And well, last Saturday, it was a thrilling game day para sa MPBL, Javi. All these games went down the wire, including an overtime victory by Pasig and Quezon stunning Nueva Ecija.
Yeah, what a coverage day that was for you and Coach Christian.
Yeah.
I'm sure enjoy kayo sa pag-cover dito sa tatlong laro na to. Pasig City, they continue to show us the grit that they've been known for all of these games this season, while Cebu continues their last push in search of a spot, at least in the play-in tournament, while Quezon with a big stunner over the home team, the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguard. Diego Dario finally playing his best game of the season, 9 3-point shots out of 11 attempts. What a breakout performance for the former UP Fighting Maroon.
Giving their first taste of the lead all game long, down by 18 points, and was able to pull through against Nueva Ecija on the road. But pag-usapan natin itong dalawang kupunan in our first game, Bulacan and Manila. Unahin na natin itong Bulacan Cuyas. They went up against the Cebu Classic in this game in a match where they led by as many as 10 points midway in the second quarter, but just couldn't sustain the momentum.
Well, that has been one of the problems for Bulacan. Each time that they have a chance to actually lead in a game early on, they cannot sustain it in the second half. And this is exactly what happened, as you mentioned, against the Cebu Greats. You see here the numbers. They shot very poorly from the field, 26.9%. That actually went dramatically down low in the second half, in the third and fourth quarters. Kaya nahirapan na sila to sustain the advantage that they gained in the first half. And Cebu coming up with a crucial victory for themselves.
And they would need a win to stay alive at the very least. Kalaban nilang Manila na na-eliminate na, no? As a result of this loss against Batangas City in a game, Javi, where they never led and they were utterly dominated, simply put, in this matchup.
Manila has had a lot of problems on defensive end. That's to say it the least. They shot 32% from the field, but again, they allowed 54.5% against the Batangas City Tanduay Rum Masters. That's just too much, and that has been the problem all season long para sa kanila. Kaya talaga sila nahihirapan na makabawi sa mga teams in terms of the defensive end, because the scoring hasn't been much of a problem. They have a ton of scorers, they have a ton of shot makers, they have a ton of playmakers, but on the defensive end, they're not able to string together consecutive number of stops. 1 to 2 stops, marami na nga ngayon on a consecutive stretch. So Manila in this game, if they want to pull out another victory, their third perhaps of the season, they're going to have to play a lot more defense.
All right, let's go to Richard Tampos for the starters.
MPBL Season 7. Let's meet the starters. We begin with the Bulacan Cuyas. At guard number 11, Aaron Acop. Starting at guard number 18, belated happy birthday, Marlon Monte. Forward number 30, Macklin Sabilina. Also at forward number 27, Rancer Serrano. Playing center number 21, Joseph Celso. Bulacan Cuyas is led by Terence Reyes, assisted by Marte Hill, team manager Kendall Velasco. Starting for Manila Batang Quiapo. Starting at guard number 1, Kenneth Pagkalinawan. Also at guard number 45, Alexis Himan. Coming in at center number 23, Decoy Lopez. Forward number 17, Alfred Cedillo. The other forward number 11, last year's All-Star Slam Dunk champion, the birthday boy, Joe Gomez Del Llano. The head coach, Max Dayandante, assisted by Clint Cusarin, RJ Jonero, and Miller Guillen. Team consultant, Bang Tumapat, the team manager, Ivan Villablor, team governor, Adosa.
Starting five brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Bulacan, starting off with Aaron Acop, Marlon Monte, Joseph Celso, Maclean Sabelina, and Rancer Serrano. For Manila naman, Alexis Himan, Ken Pagkalinawan, Decoy Lopez, Alfred Cedillo, and Joe Gomez De Leano. Our referees for this ball game are Maynard Centeno, Haliric Tamico, Karina Martin, and fourth referee is Afea Maronilla. Bulacan gets first possession here as Monte will miss. Belated happy birthday to Marlon Monte. At nagdidiwang din pala ng karawan niya ngayon si Joe Gomez De Leano, who will defend his Slam Dunk Contest title next Saturday in the MPBL All-Star Game.
Tama ka dyan. And also happy birthday as well to Junior MPBL Commissioner Keith Picasso.
Oh yeah! How could I forget? Boss Keith, happy birthday. Joseph Celso. Edgy pass, Monte. Serrano flips it up. And a foul will be called against Manila.
That's excellent ball movement on that half-court set for the Bulacan Cuyas. Triangle set going into the pinch post, and then you see the flash in the middle. Galing kay Rancer Serrano, who only played 2 minutes in that game against Cebu, being given the chance to start here against Manila. Right away, taking advantage of this opportunity given to him by Coach Terence Reyes.
And we mentioned already at the top of the coverage how challenging the season has been for each of these teams. But I think one thing that could at least be a silver lining for them has been yung mga naging additions nila during the window na nag-perform kahit papano ng maganda. Probably their best seasons in the MPBL, talking about Marlon Monte for Bulacan and Alfred Cedillo naman para sa Manila.
Yeah, those two guys have certainly given them a little bit of hope at the end of the tunnel, if you may. But individually, for sure, they have had successful seasons. But their teams continue to ride the cellar sa bottom ng ating team standings. And it really has been more of a disaster than a success para sa kanilang mga koponan.
Oo. Manila officially eliminated na nga, no? Kasama nila ang Paranaque dyan. Bulacan still has that sliver of hope, although malabo-labo na rin yan, lalo kung matalo sila dito. They will be also eliminated from playoff contention.
And it's just quite a pity because both of these teams have actually been more of perennial playoff teams in the past dito sa ating liga. Kaya hindi rin talaga tayo sanay na makita yung mga pangalan ng mga teams nila sa bottom ng ating mga team standings.
Lalo tong Manila, no? Especially in their first few seasons in the league. Joe Gomez de Leaño puts it in plus a foul. Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X Pop, personal karaoke speaker, everyday karaoke.
Birthday boy off to a good start here in this game. 5 quick ones for Joe Gomez de Leaño. I'd really love to see this guy flourish here in the league. It's nice that he has this opportunity to blossom individually with Manila, but I do hope that he also learns how to be a contributor on a good team in the following seasons.
Mas matanda siya pareho kay ano, no? Kay Juan sa kay.
He's the eldest.
He's the eldest, yeah. UP din, hindi.
Yes.
5-all is the tally here. Free throws coming up for Marlon Monte.
No, I'm sorry. Joe pala went to UST.
Hindi UP.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just Javi and Juan that went to UP.
Dami kasi nila eh.
Oo.
May nakakabata pa silang kapatid. Si Jordy.
Magaling din yun.
Magaling din. Matangkad din. Wala sa kanilang below 6 feet eh. No?
Wala. Lahat sila above 6 feet. Because both parents are also tall talaga.
Okay. Marlon Monte splitting his charities. 6-5 is the score. Bulacan with a 1-point lead. Decoy Lopez. Cutting was Heman, but ball off his leg. Ball will go back to Bulacan. Aaron Acop nagbabalik din para sa Bulacan Cuyas. The pass stolen by Alfred Cedillo. Counter steal by Aaron Acop. Floater will drop for Aaron.
Oh, Manila started there with a full court trap. I think that was a 1-2-1-1 if I'm not mistaken. They were able to force a turnover, but then Bulacan coming up with a counter steal with Aaron Acop scoring, pero mabilis naman ang naging sagot dito ng Batang Quiapo.
Serrano lobs it up to Marlon Monte. Off the glass and in. Bulacan scoring 10 points already. Almost 4 minutes gone by in the opening quarter. Pagkalinawan, Mintis.
So you see both teams actually maganda yung nagiging exchange nila dito. Defense not really so much there. Actually more like token defense para sa parehong koponan. Even if Manila has also started playing with a full court press, it still has been relatively easier for both teams on the offensive end to start.
Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Achi Inigo against Joseph Celso. Achi fires off the heel. Bola na tapik na punta kay Marlon Monte. Monte will attack and score once more.
Marlon Monte has been one of the more exciting scorers that we've seen here in the MPBL. It's nice to have him back dito sa ating liga. He has plied his trade in various leagues across Southeast Asia. And we're very happy that he's back here to showcase the experience na nakuha niya dun sa mga iba't ibang liga na linaruan niya.
Achi Inigo will lay it in. Manila cuts the lead to 3, 12-9. Dito sa Bulacan, we haven't seen JR Sumido yet. Maclean Sabelina, pupukol sa 3. Yes!
Well, it's actually quite peculiar sometimes how and when JR Sumido actually checks in for Bulacan, especially when Coach Terence took over. At times, he sit out the whole first quarter, papasok siya second quarter na. Sometimes, maaga pa lang, pinapasok na agad siya. I don't really recognize the pattern yet, pero depende na rin siguro yan sa mga nakaka-matchup nila. That's all up to Bulacan Cuyas, how they managed to put in one of their top scorers.
Another steal. Joe Gomez de Leaño will just lay it in. 15-14. Bulacan with a 1-point lead, 4 minutes and 35 seconds left in the first quarter.
This is a nice pickup here by Cedillo with a good forward pass to the leaking out Joe Gomez Deliano, who scored half of Manila's points here in the first quarter.
Bulacan sues for time. We'll be right back.
Back here in Orion, Bataan, Bulacan may be at the bottom of the standings, pero kahit ganun, Coach Terence Reyes, as we all know him, keeps the fire, passion, and faith burning for the team. After their loss to Cebu, sabi niya, pampalakas lang ng resistensya, agad kaming bumalik sa practice, and I always tell my guys to stay present and to always enjoy the game because there's still a lot for us and we have a few remaining games, yet confident pa rin siya that this is not the end for Bulacan. Baka hindi pa raw ngayon, pero sa mga susunod na seasons, babangon daw ulit sila, lalo na with a wave of promising homegrown players na paparating at umuusbong pa. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Lyra. And minsan nakikisama pa sa ensayo yan si Coach Terence eh. Minsan nakakasama din niya ito si Joseph Celso sa mga papawis niya, no? At mintis nga lang yung tira galing sa labas ni Joseph Celso, and a foul will be called against Manila. And well, just alluding to Lyra's report na palagi ko tanggap na nila eh, kahit pa mathematically posible pa, pero at least meron na silang reality check, no, na tingin nila hindi na sila talaga maka-advance. You see there, Joe Gomez Deliano following up that miss. But they have pieces here like Aaron Acop, who had that 20-point outing, if you remember, against Caloocan, where they won that one. He was the best player of the game.
Well, they do really have building blocks here, and kung tanggap na nila na hindi na sila or malabo na silang makakapasok at least for a playing spot this season, that is still not enough reason for them to slack off. And if they do have building blocks for the future, and if they do have a plan in sight, if they do have a vision in place, there is no better time to start than now.
Joe Gomez Deliano with a hot start, 11 points. This is a guy that has really struggled from the field when he got traded, or he got acquired rather, from Sarangani, and now he's with Manila. Shooting below 30%. Achi Inigo to Alfred Cedillo, who lays it in.
This guy has been the opposite of that ever since he came in here during the window. He has flourished here for the Batang Quiapo, and we've said it multiple times in a lot of his games that this is a much better Alfred Cedillo, who has seen the game slow down in his mind. He picks his spots well. He's a more complete player nowadays, not just a guy who is looking to score, but has also learned where and when to set up his teammates in spots where they can too be successful.
Malaking wing player eh. Sometimes will play that 4 spot. He's now actually playing that 4 spot.
Ayun, maganda sa kanya because of his height, he can play multiple positions. And it's a nice story rin how he was able to come back to playing basketball, almost gave up already in playing this sport. But see, God has different plans for him, and now we're witnessing some greatness by Alfred Cedillo as we see Joseph Celso tie up things for Bulacan.
Under 2 minutes left. Achi Inigo behind the back. Still with the basketball. Jan Baltasar will draw closer. Layup too strong. Fight for the ball. Reyes was caught by that sideline. Out of bounds. Ball will stay with Manila. We check out the play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Pentoralba. Achi, quick trigger. No good. Joe Gomez Deliano got blocked. Bola pa rin ng Manila.
Kinuyog siya ng depensa doon ni Reyes tsaka ni Joseph Celso. They definitely got all ball there. Kitang-kita from our vantage point.
Cedillo at the post against Gino Humawas. In traffic, Cedillo, doesn't matter.
You see how controlled and composed he was there against 3 white shirts. Just found a crease in the defense and went up for that very impressive hook shot.
24-22. Sumido open for free. Can't get it to fall. Ventoralba. Nice pass to Cedillo. Kicks it out to Achi Inigo. Short on that 3-point attempt. Forward pass. And a nice bounce pass from Jair Sumido, sending up Reyes.
Both teams actually, for the most part, having a really nice flow to their offense. They're moving that ball. They're finding the open man. Not really forcing a lot of shots. You like to see this coming from both teams.
John Baltasar missing everything, but Alfred Cedillo cleans it up for his 10th point.
After Joe Gomez de Leano went to work early here in this game, si Cedillo naman ang pumalit dito para sa Manila Batang Quiapo, which is no surprise definitely.
Both guys already in double figures.
Combined 21 points for both Joe and Alfred. 21 of the 26 for the Batang Quiapo here so far in the first quarter.
Foul against Manila. That's their last foul to give. Marlon Espiritu, who played in seasons past for Manila, now he gets it to Gino Mawas, who knocks down the free. Achi, oh, what a pass inside to a cutting Alfred Cedillo just to be the buzzer.
Still one of the more basketball savvy players that we have here in the MPBL. Achi Inigo making a heads-up play to a cutting Alfred Cedillo.
We saw Joe Gomez de Leano got off to a hot start. 11 points on 4 of 6 shooting from the field.
A lot of them on the break. You see layups, put back attempts, and more runouts really here para kay Joe Gomez de Leano, just able to beat the defense to the spot on multiple occasions in that first quarter.
It's a 1-point lead for Manila at the end of quarter number 1, 28-27. Last game against Batangas, man, the field goal shooting from these 3 players, a lot left to be desired from Joe Gomez de Leano, Achi Inigo, and Decoy Lopez.
Yeah, all of these guys, kung hindi sila gumagana, mahihirapan talaga Manila. Aside from the fact na the defense wasn't there as usual para sa kanilang koponan. If you don't have these guys putting in their usual numbers, it's gonna be a level 10 difficulty for Manila in that game.
Meanwhile, Bulacan, chance to reclaim the lead. Edward Reyes, no good on that 3-point attempt.
That's a dangerous pass.
Kaya nga naagaw na ni Marlon Espiritu. Long rebound tap. Achi Inigo hangs in the air but could not complete it. Celso, pass inside to Jair Sumido as Bulacan reclaims the lead.
Medyo nagulat pa nga yata sa pasa doon si Jair Sumido. That's why he had a little smile on his face after that shot.
Celso with a rebound again. Sumido now on the front court. Between the legs, off the glass, Pintis. Toralba snags it down for Manila. Red Eusebio, binangga sa ere ni Gino Humawas.
That is the very definition of going to the rim hard. There is no way that you are going to get even just an opportunity to get fouled if you don't go to the rim that way.
That's for the game brought to you by Extreme X Play on the go speaker. Take your music anywhere. Celso pinalitan ni Maclean Sabelina. Red Eusebio back at the line. Hard-nosed player, no? Para dito sa Manila. Mintis yung kanyang unang free throw.
Not really much of a tall guard, but he plays really physical and tough.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Tapla tayo, 29-all. Bumawas. Siya na magbababa dito for Bulacan. Hands it off to Benedictos. Espiritu. Nahanap si Gino Humawas. Humawas, one-hander is good.
I think we've seen better movement from Gino Humawas recently, no? Compared to the start of the season. I think the mobility is much better. At nagagawa niya na yung mga usual na nakikita natin sa kanya in the past. Because at the start of the season, you see that his mind wants to do something, but his body, the way that it responds, it's different.
Yeah. Ganoon na ba si Gino? Nasa 30s na din eh.
Yes, early 30s na rin yan. I know he's a little bit older than me. Siguro mga 1 or 2 years. Kaso 18 pa lang ako eh.
Oo nga. Eh, sabi mo 30, paano nangyari yun?
Oo nga, hindi pala. Hindi pala kami magka-age. Sorry.
Which is which, Mr. Palanya? Pero naalala ko yan, UE days eh. Talagang ragtag guard talaga yan eh. Really not afraid to attack the rim.
Ay nako, kung napanood mo siya nung high school days niya, yun talaga. For me, that was the peak of his career. He was the best. I think he was the best individual player during that time with the San Sebastian Staglets in the NCAA juniors. Although San Beda was the champion that time, San Sebastian with him leading the charge, he was the best player of that tournament.
Si Coach Raymond pa rin yun, hindi na.
Yeah, I think it was still Coach Raymond coaching that squad, and I believe he was the MVP of that season, yung kanyang last season.
Yeah.
Scoring in the 30s and the 40s almost each game. At alam mo naman kung gaano kahirap score ng ganun sa NCAA.
Oo.
That was such a tough league, especially with the kind of players that they had in that era. Oh my.
He's also a former One Bataan riser to see
Yes.
Gino Humawas back in season 3. Too strong on the first free throw. Let's go courtside to Miss Lyra Punsalan.
Just like Bulacan, Coach Max Dayandante of Manila may be at the bottom of the standings, pero chill lang siya and still all about giving every player equal opportunities sa playing time. I just tell them, wag mo nang isipin ang mga hindi pa nangyayari. Right now, we have to play with so much pride kasi pareho kaming nasa bottom ng Bulacan. He said positive pa rin ang vibes ni Coach Max dahil malaking takeaway daw this year na nagka-confidence sa mga batang players ng Manila at syempre, nagka-fans pa sila along the way. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lyra. And well, let's see if they could really salvage some pride here because it hasn't been pretty. Actually, both of these teams, Manila had that stretch where they lost 15 straight games after winning their opening match against Marikina.
And I'm sure nung nakikita nila when they were able to recognize the trend that's been happening to both their teams, I'm sure siguro mga 2 weeks ahead minarakahan na nila tong game na to sa kanilang mga kalendaryo because these two teams, they're combined 5 and 41 in their win-loss records.
Yeah.
And yung number 5 na yun siguro yung margin ng mga panalo nila. Yung 41, yan halos yung margin ng mga talo nila. On average.
I like that you made that analogy, but it's really fitting because we mentioned eto ang Manila 15 straight losses, so isipin mo no, halos 3 buwan din silang di nanalo during that stretch. Bulacan, for a time sila yung antagal walang panalo, finally broke through against Parañaque, and they also had that upset win against Caloocan. Manila naman tinalo yung Pasig. We covered that one in Lucena. As we see Maclean Sabelina score, it's now 37-36 Bulacan with a 1-point lead. Joe Gomez de Leaño settles for that shot from the outside. Sabelina the rebound.
Oh, no birthday roll for the birthday boy. I thought that was gonna go in.
Espiritu de Hesi and lays it in.
That burst of speed from the lefty, blowing by both Joe Gomez de Leaño and John Baltazar on that offensive set for the Bulacan Cuyas. Take a look at it here. Little brush screen from Sabelina. Di nga masyado tumama dun, but was able to elude the defense and flip it up and in for that left-hand scoop.
Bulacan up by 3, 39-36 timeout Manila. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Lamang ang Bulacan ng tatlo. Eusebio can't get the layup to drop. Manila trailing here, 39-36. Muli po Ken Pangilinan with Javi Palanya at courtside. We have Miss Lyra Punsalan. Si Lyra, agaling lang pala sa camping nung nasa Zambales daw siya. Nakita mo yung story niya, Javi. Ito, nakabutas si Benedictos for that 3-point shot. Lamang ang Bulacan, 42-36.
Nagka-camping pala siya.
Oo.
So baka pwede ba yun sa balat niya? Baka di ba
Kaya
masyado
nga
sensitive yung balat niya?
Kaya
para
nga
to?
Gulat nga ako Ito, matake si Marlon Monte.
Baka glamping.
Pwede. Pag glamping kasi medyo maganda yung pagkaka-shade nung bubong nun 3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. Dito yung tres ni Benedictos. Mas alam ko, pagkapampangan, masarap magluto.
Kailan kaya tayo makakatikim ng
Yun na nga
pagluluto ni Miss Lyra Punsalan?
Matatapos na yung regular season. Puro kwento lang yung naririnig ko. Hindi
Kaya
ko
nga
naman nakakanasan.
Saka nakailang cover naman na rin na tayo sa Pampanga, nakasama naman siya.
Oo, di ba?
So wala pa rin Wala pa rin talaga ako natitikman.
We still have less than a month. Okay? Probably a few weeks. Malay mo naman, baka sa All-Stars biglang dumating yan. May daladalang putahe para sa ating lahat. Baka naman, di ba?
Ang importante, at least isang beses matikman ko.
Ayan, sige. 42-40 Manila, cutting the lead down to 2. Celso and Aaron Acop will return.
A few weeks lang naman remaining in our regular season, pero may playoffs pa naman tayo.
Oh, mayroon pa. Sige, dagdagan natin yung tanning. Masyado tayo mabait Hanggang mga November, December pa, pwede pa. Pero sana wag mo naman patagalin ng ganun, di ba?
Sana nga.
Oo. 42-40. Pero ano yan magaling mag-recommend yan ng mga restaurant on the way to Bataan Kasi napapadalas tayo sa Bataan
Siyempre, the Queen of the North.
Yeah. Inside Alvarez. Put back no. Benedictos got the rebound at foul galing sa likod laban kay Guevara. Maxi De Andante. Pinasok ulit si birthday boy, Joe Gomez de Leaño.
Both teams still continue to ride high offensively here. Manila shooting 47% from the field while Bulacan is enjoying a 53% clip. So both teams really doing well offensively still. But you see the defense tightening up. So it's very impressive that both these teams have still been continuing to respond well offensively despite the improved defense.
Medyo naplatan ng gulong doon si Guevara. Lost the basketball. turnover against Manila. Benedictos gets it to Aaron Acop. Score is 44-40. 3 minutes remaining in the second period. At may foul na tinawag laban sa Manila. Love the game brought to you by 1xBet, title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
McLean Sabelina, actually one of the more versatile bigs here in the league, no?
Oo.
Can put the ball on the floor, has a decent outside shot, has an average post game, but still, he's a guy that you can rely on to also defend the paint. So, on both sides, maaasahan mo yan si McLean Sabelina. Maybe one of the guys that they can build around heading into the future for this franchise.
Alam mo yan, si McLean Sabelina tumatatak din sa akin yan kasi naging teammate niya dati sa 3x3, my good friend and longtime classmate, Tonino Gonzaga, was a former player for Manila last season. Namimiss ko na si Tonino dito sa MPBL.
Oh yeah. Alam mo naman si Zags talagang he will give it his all when he is on the floor. He's a guy who plays with a lot of heart. That's why it's sad na wala siya ngayon sa ating season. Pero who knows, maybe in the future, bumalik si Zags. Kayang-kaya pa naman. Condition na condition pa rin naman.
Oo. So, alam ko dati naging magkaampi sila ni Marlon Monte, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, sa Nueva Ecija. Back in season 3. I think with Jai Reyes as well. Gixer, great move of the game. Born for greatness. Joe Gomez de Leaño continues his scoring spree here. Total of 16 points. Alvarez at the line. Short on the first free throw. Itong Manila, perennial powerhouse to nung panahon nila Chris Biton.
Yes.
Aris Dionisio. Real Cervantes.
And we thought that last season would actually be the time that we would see Manila go deeper into our postseason with the lineup that they started with. It was a really tall lineup headed by Greg Slaughter. Rabal Hosseini was part of that. Nasabi na nga natin. Tonino Gonzaga, also a member of that. They also had Josh Toralba on that team. A lot of really ace players sa kupunan na yon. But apparently, it also was a testament to the idea that it's not really all about having a lot of firepower. Sometimes it's just really more about getting the right pieces that will fit together well enough to create good chemistry.
Yeah. Meron pa silang Francis Escandor nun.
Yes, that's right. A lot of really great players that weren't able to find good chemistry, especially down the stretch when they went up against Caloocan na in-eliminate sila.
Yeah. Renzo Navarro was also mostly their starting point guard. And that was a disappointing loss for them because they were the higher seed. As McLean Sabelina, napatingin pa sa amay ala Gary El Granada David, 49-45.
That's the second three for Sabelina in this game. 10 points para sa kanya sa laro na to.
Joe wants a challenge. Pagbigyan niyo na, birthday niya ngayon eh. Oh, di ba? Ganyan ang coach. Basta may birthday wish, pagbigyan agad. Ayan, challenge para sa Manila Batang Quiapo. Tingnan natin kung magiging successful sila dito sa aming pagbabalik.
The Manila's challenge was unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful challenge. from Coach Maxi De Andante. So, hindi natupad itong gustong mangyari ni Joe Gomez Diliano dahil talagang lumabas off him. So, bola mapupunta sa Bulacan. By the way, since both of these teams are playing in the North Division, let's just congratulate the recently named starters in the North. Dave Ildefonso of Abra, JC Marcelino of Nueva Ecija, Orlan Wamar of San Juan, Jeff Banday of Caloocan, and Larry Muyang of Pampanga. Very loaded, yung starting unit ng North, Javi.
Yeah, you may say that it is quite the smaller unit compared to past All-Star starters, but that is definitely a team, a unit, a starting five that will give you a lot of excitement on the floor for the North.
Maclean Sabelina gives Bulacan a 6-point advantage. Celso with a good defensive stand. Pass, Benedictos inside. Marlon Monte will put it in. Biggest lead of Bulacan now at 8.
Basically, Bulacan has just been relying a lot on their experience here against a younger Manila Batang Quiapo team. And look at this. Nobody home here for Manila. Oh,
Sabelina missing that gimme but cleans up his own miss. 3 seconds remaining. Joe Gomez de Leaño for free. It will bounce out. And that's gonna do it in our first 2 quarters. Maclean Sabelina scoring in double figures in the first half. Bulacan, as a result, having the lead here.
Maclean Sabelina coming alive in the second quarter here. Half of his shots falling down, 2 of those coming from the outside. The defense hasn't been able to slow him down clearly, and he has also done his work on the glass. 7 boards as well to go with that 14 points of his. Itong si Maclean Sabelina.
10-point lead for Bulacan at the half over Manila, 55-45. 10 puntos ang lamang ng Bulacan kontra sa Manila. Matapos ang dalawang quarter, no? 55-45. And this half featured 13 lead changes and 5 deadlocks. But Bulacan finishing the second quarter strong, Javi, with a 9-0 run to establish their biggest lead at 10 points.
Yeah, Manila actually finishing the first quarter up by a solitary point, and then come the second quarter, Bulacan as a whole, they scored 28 points in that period, outscoring Manila by 11 in that quarter. And if you see the numbers here, not a lot of difference in a lot of departments here. Both teams shooting above average from the field. The rebounding hasn't been much of a difference, +4 lang dyan ang Bulacan. That's the reason why both teams have been able to run. Pareho sila, kaya lang Manila has been taking a lot more advantage of this. But the 3-point shots, mas marami lang dyan ang Bulacan, kaya medyo nakalayo sila dito ng konti, especially with that run headed by Sabelina towards the latter part of that second quarter. Sabi mo akin, 9-0 run to cap off that period.
But Joe Gomez de Leaño celebrating his birthday, 18 points on 8 of 13 shooting from the field. On the other side, leading the way for the Bulacan Cuyas is Maclean Sabelina. Easily his season high of 14 points. May kasama pang 7 rebounds. Shooting 50% from the field.
Magugulat ka sa mga numero niya, for this season, averaging only a shade under 5 points per game. This is a guy na kung talagang bibigyan mo ng minuto, kung talagang bibigyan mo ng oportunidad, I feel like he can be a consistent double-digit scorer here in the league.
But he will start off the third on the bench together with Marlon Monte. But Rancer Serrano with the flip shot, increasing their deficit here to 12 points, 57-45. 3-point shot nailed by Achi Inigo.
Might be about time for the Archer to come alive here in the second half for the Batok Quiapo, talking about Achi Inigo.
Pagkalinawan whistled for the foul. 3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
Again, it is imperative as a defender that you know the strengths of the guy that you are guarding, whether it's a zone, whether you're going man-to-man, especially if you're going man-to-man. And I say that because on that play, Gonzaga, he went under the screen, and you don't do that against a shooter like Achi Inigo.
Alfred Cedillo binitbit. Mintis nga lang. Espiritu, pasa palabas kay Gawix. Gonzaga, nawala yung ball niya sa kanya. Cedillo, off the bounce, turns around, off the glass, no, but a foul.
Wasn't able to get the whistle earlier on that shot attempt, yung kanyang binitbit yung bola, no? But Cedillo, bumawi dito, made sure na diniin niyo muna yung depensa before going up for that shot, drawing that contact.
Itong free throw na ito ay hatid sa atin ng Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Supply yung unang free throw ni Alfred Cedillo, averaging close to 20 points per contest. 57-49.
I'm sure that he is one player that Bacolod has had a lot of regret in not being able to get to play for them this season. But I'm sure he will be on the radar for the Tobo Slashers next year. Homegrown yan ng Bacolod.
Gawix, Gonzaga, nagpakawala ng tres.
That's a moving pick. Offensive foul laban sa Manila.
Decoy Lopez whistled for that foul. 60-49. 8 turnovers already against Manila compared to only 5 laban sa Bulacan Cuyas. Gawix Gonzaga dito naglaro nung first 2 quarters. Pumukul ulit galing sa labas. That time it's an air ball. Coach Terence Reyes Bola ay mananatili sa panig ng Manila dito.
A little bit of a tough pass to make there galing kay Anchi Inigo. Good thing that they retained possession.
Joe Gomez de Leaño can't hit the free.
Although he has experienced an influx of baskets here in this game, that outside shot has not been very kind to him. Unlike Joseph Celso, who has found the stroke in that shot.
Biggest lead now for Bulacan. 14 points. Decoy Lopez. Ball will roll out.
Si Decoy Lopez scoreless pa dito sa laro na ito.
Espiritu gets it to the gut of the defense, lays it in. Bulacan is now up by 16. Fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig. Free installation for split-type air conditioners.
Espiritu has been a viable option offensively off the bench. He has been the spark plug. Given the opportunity to start here in the second half, he has given Bulacan their biggest lead of the game at 16 points.
Mabuting may bahay ni Coach Melo Navarro. Maaga dito si Ma'am Tin and Steph Benito, the better half of Enzo Navarro. Gixter fan of the game, born for greatness. Layo ng binyahin nila.
Oo.
That's love.
I love love. Don't you? Of course you do.
Lahat naman tayo, pare.
Hindi lahat tayo.
Hindi ba? Hindi ba?
I tell you, not everybody loves love. I know of some people who hate it. What a pity, right?
Ang hirap naman nun.
That's so sad.
Si Lyra naman siguro hindi kabilang doon, no?
Di naman siguro.
Ha?
I don't think you can wear a smile on your face if you don't love love.
Oo nga. 3 minutes gone by. 14-point lead, 65-51. Uy, ba't may nagpupunta dito sa panel? May nagsusumbong.
Magtrabaho ka doon.
O, kita mo, hindi mo nakikita, gumagawa na si Gawix. 5 points na para sa Bulacan.
Just when he took two ill-advised shots earlier, Gonzaga going to work, but they give up a basket here. Although, again, the Batang Quiapo, just like in many of their games this season, have not been able to string together yet stops to try and chip away at this deficit.
Alam mo, kailangan matuto sila dito kay Lyra. Nakabantay ngayon sa atin. Tight defense. This is the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Buti pa si Gonzaga may opensa, si Lyra wala.
Si Gawix, ha? Talagang maganda yata yung gising ngayon. 7 puntos.
Right after the timeout, bigla talaga siya pumutok dito. Had an air ball earlier, had a turnover as well. But here, coming alive, just in a span of 2 minutes, Gonzaga able to produce here for the Kuyas and helping them maintain and even extend this advantage.
Sorry, 6 points pa lang. Medyo advance ako mag-isip. 68-53. This has been the issue all season long. Manila is the team giving up the most number of points this season easily. And more than 10 times already, they gave up 100 points to their opponents.
That is why the average points against the Manila Batang Quiapo is 107.6. Imagine that. It's really going to be very tough to win games, let alone get close in games when you give up those kinds of numbers on the defensive end.
Answer Serrano. He will travel.
Got a little too jumpy there. This could be the time that Manila can try and actually pull down the deficit to a much more manageable margin. Let's see what they do here.
Venturalba to Red Eusebio. Eusebio misses, rejected by Joseph Celso. And Manila will Bulacan will secure possession.
Now maybe some viewers might be wondering, that was an air ball. Bakit di tinawagan ng traveling doon si Eusebio? Right now in FIBA rules, as long as it's a valid shot attempt, even if di siya tumama ng ring, you can get it back yourself. The guy who took the shot. And it won't be a travel.
Oo. Pero hindi mo na yata pwede i-dribble eh.
Hindi na.
Di ba?
Hindi na. It's either you shoot it or you pass it.
Oo.
Yun na lang.
Torralba scores plus the foul. The former RTU Blue Thunder will shoot to the line for a 3-point play opportunity.
It's a play there by Heman with that outlet pass to the guy forward. That was Torralba, making it count for the Manila Batang Quiapo. 10 ang kalamangan dito ng Bulacan.
Joe Gomez Deliano of Manila is keeping things light and fun despite their tough season. Sabi niya, mas importante daw ngayon na hindi mawala yung joy sa paglalaro kahit na nasa ilalim sila ng standings. He keeps the mood in the dugout chill, cracking jokes to teammates and reminding everyone that basketball is still a blessing. Kaya enjoy lang. And for Joe, wins or losses aside, what matters is that they're still out here competing, learning, and giving the Manila fans something to cheer about. Dinadaan nga daw nila sa konting salo-salo ang mga pinagdadaanan nila. Kaya speaking of salo-salo, pa-experience naman ng Club 225 mo, Javi, at ng meal prepping skills mo, Ken.
Magaling bumawi si Lyra. But I think we saw the parents of
Yes.
Joe watching, right? And we see Joe enjoying the game even though this is such a difficult season for Manila. And I think he's having an added motivation of his parents na dumayo all the way from Manila, all the way dito sa Orion na hindi biro yung biyahe papunta dito.
Actually, even naman nung start nung MPBL career ni Joe, and that goes for all of his siblings. As much as his parents can watch, nanonood talaga sila. Minsan nga, buong pamilya pa yan eh. That's how supportive the Gomez Deliano family has been of their children and their siblings. And kaya naman nakakatuwa rin naman yung camaraderie na pinapakita nila magkakapatid.
68-60, 8-point lead. Fadeaway jumper by Rancer Serrano will not work. Espiritu from the outside, still no go. Edward Reyes, binomba pa, mintis pa din. Bola nawala kay Decoy Lopez. Sa loob, Serrano, malakas. Reyes will finally put it in after multiple shot attempts galing dito sa Bulacan.
Yeah, you can't let Bulacan have multiple offensive rebounds there using their height. You have to put a body on each one. And here they are getting a quick turnover against Manila.
Bulacan reestablishing a 12-point lead. Inside, Eusebio Mintes. Celso snags down the board. Reyes, sidestep, lays it in.
Not much of a fast break, if you will, but Reyes there just taking his time, being patient and using that Euro step to elude the defense. But a lack of defense on the other side for the Cuyas, allowing Manila to score inside. That's Red Eusebio getting the 2 points.
Lumuluwag yung depensa actually by both teams, but that's a rare show display of defense right there from Alexis Heman. Pinasahan na naman niya si Torralba for the transition basket. 74-64. Edward Reyes at the elbow. Foul called on Manila. Alexis Heman and Pentoralba having a conversation. Coach Maxi Deandante napailing doon after that foul call whistled against the Manila Batang Quiapo.
Dahil penalty na sila dito. Only 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. If you're a coach, syempre, ang gusto mo, hindi na talaga umabot sa penalty. Because you also would want, especially if you're a team that's trying to catch up, you would want to try and use those remaining team fouls na hindi mo pa nagagamit dun sa madulong segundo na ng bawat quarter to try and use it to stymie the opposing team's offensive.
Disconcerting violation against Manila. Free throws. 2 more free throws coming up for Edward Reyes. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer.
That's a violation that you don't see every time.
Doon nga ako nagtataka eh. Unang free throw pa lang, bakit mayroon pang gumagalaw na player from the opposing team, no? I mean, it's very trivial, but you give an extra free throw to your opponent.
And that happens when disconcerting just means that you're distracting, kinakausap mo yung free throw shooter, or pumapalakpak ka kung ano-ano mang ginagawa mo.
Toralba off the glass. It's a goaltend.
Yeah, definitely a goaltend. There was a tap board, not of the good kind.
Oo.
Galing sa Bulacan.
Si Alexis Heman na naman ba yung nag-issue ng assist doon?
Heman's been dishing out a lot here, especially in the third quarter. Yes, mukhang galing kay Heman yun. And Toralba, again, the recipient of another great lead pass.
That's been the calling card of Alexis Heman. He may not score a lot of points, but he grabs those rebounds and issues those assists. Palagay ko goaltend ito, no? So basket will probably count for Stephen Toralba.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. That's definitely a goaltend. Benedicto's going for that ball, which eventually ended up in him tapping the board. That will count, yes, sir.
Yep. That will count for Stephen Toralba.
Stephen Toralba adds 2 more points to his total with 8 points. 75-69. Si Red Eusebio ay papalitan muna dito.
Little bit of a small lineup here. Actually, no. A really
Maliit.
small lineup on the floor here for Manila. Let's see how they fare here with Sabelina playing the 5 on the opposite end. Ooh, they get a steal.
Joe Gomez de Leaño with the layup. 23 points now.
22.
22, sorry. Well, he could add on to that. As he got a steal, lays it in, plus a foul. 3-point play opportunity coming up. Manila knocking on the door.
Not a lot of players get to experience playing this type of game during their birthday with their parents in attendance in the venue. What an opportunity it is for Joe GDL to play inspired basketball on this very day.
And made the bonus free throw. Lead cut down to 1. Approaching 1 minute left in the third. Benedictos colliding with this defender. Manila the rebound, a chance to reclaim the lead. Pentoralba for free. It's off. Sabelina with a rebound. Aaron Acop puts it on the deck, kicks it out. Gino Humawas inside. Sabelina will score.
Excellent bullet pass there coming from Gino Humawas, locating a wide open Sabelina. Nobody on him underneath the basket.
Toralba ties the ball game up with a free.
He's been a little pocket rocket here in the third quarter.
11 markers from Stephen Torralba. Offensive foul against Marlon Monte. Torralba hits the deck.
Buti nga si Torralba pa yung unang tumapik doon kay Marlon Monte. Monte is asking for a flop. Let's see kung ano yung nangyari doon sa ating review. It happened away from the ball. Sa may kanang bahagi ng ating sahig.
Is the youngster going up against the veteran. Torralba in his first season in the league.
And nice to see that despite it being his first season, he's been holding his ground against the more seasoned veterans dito sa ating liga.
Ouch. Hindi naman flop siguro yun.
There was definitely a swing by Monte. Hindi ko lang masyado makita from that angle kung talagang tumama. But there's definitely a swing. So yeah, at the very least, that should be an offensive foul.
Possible upgrade here. Referee Halirik Tamikog will go to Richard Tampos, our resident game announcer. So it's just an offensive foul. 7.7 seconds left, 77 all. Not something you see every day.
Yeah, Bulacan and Manila engaged in a very tight ball game. But somehow this is what you expect coming from both teams headed into this matchup. Hindi lang talaga sanay na makita yung isang team na ganito yung magiging resulta at the end of the third quarter.
Bola na wala sa Manila, 2.1 seconds para sa Bulacan to get the lead back. And they will not get it off in time. And that's gonna do it here in the third period, where Bulacan established their biggest lead at 16 points. Highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration. Pero maganda yung pagbalik dito ng Manila in the tail end of this third period.
Pouring it on offensively dito sa ating third quarter. Outscoring Bulacan 32-22. What a high-scoring third quarter that was. Joe Gomez de Leaño continuing his scoring here in this game, already with 25 points, almost equaling his age today on his birthday. Ito si Joe GDL.
77 all heading into the fourth. Alright, we're back here in Orion. Fan of the game is brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. That's Ma'am Tin Navarro, Tin Magsaysay Navarro. Taga Zambales ito eh. So hindi naman lalalayo, no? From Orion, Bataan.
Baka nag-stopover muna sila doon bago
Pwede.
pumunta dito.
Alam ko, galing Korea yung mga yan. Si Coach Melo, saka si Ma'am Tin.
Coach Melo, baka naman.
Oo. Plus 10 nung third quarter. Ang Manila, after being outscored by 11 in the second period. That's why Bulacan had that double-digit edge. Joe Gomez de Leaño rather, gives the lead back to Manila. 80-77 with a three-point shot.
28 points on your 28th birthday. Happy birthday, Joe GDL.
Gino Humawas was fouled. Free throws coming up for Gino. The proud Sambuangueño, si Gino Humawas. Pasok ang unang free throw, 9 out of 15 from the line ng Bulacan, 60%. LGR is the official outfitter of the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. 80-79, baba sa isang lamang. Cedillo papunta kay Achi. Alfred goes up strong. Foul will be called against Bulacan. Umuwas. Shaking his head. Commits that foul. Cedillo will choke to the line. Alfred Cedillo.
Medyo bumagal yung scoring niya dito sa second half, no?
Oo. Mintis yung unang free throw niya. Just coming off an 8-point outing against Batangas City. Itong free throw na ito, atin sa atin Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
Yeah, one of his worst outings in his short stint here with Manila.
Gino Humawas with Marlon Monte, Maclean Sabelina, Aaron Acop, and Harold Benedictus. Mintis yung tres ni Aaron Acop. Joe Gomez de Leaños settles for a free. Can't get it to fall. The ball will stay with the Manila Batang Quiapo. Baseline inbound from Achi. Joe Soriano gives it out to Cedillo, who was able to shake off two white jerseys for the layup.
What a beautiful move to the basket there, gonna get Alfred Cedillo. Just imperative to know where the defense is at when you're the guy with the basketball coming from the left wing. Nakita mo ba yung footwork na ginawa doon ni Alfred Cedillo?
Oo. Joe Gomez de Leaño naman with a sidestep beauty. 30 points for Joe GDL.
Season high for Joe GDL. We're gonna check if that's his career high, but definitely the highest output for the season for Joe Gomez de Leaño.
Sabelina short. Joe in front. Follow-up is good from Achi Inigo. Lead up to 8 for Manila.
No dunks yet in this game for the reigning slam dunk king, but good thing his teammate Achi Inigo was there to trail that fast break. Still give 2 points to Manila. Now their biggest lead of the game.
Play of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Timeout Bulacan as they trail by 8, 87-79. Alfred Cedillo, like we said, struggled from the field in their game against Batangas City. Only 8 points, 3 of 14 shooting. And today, much better. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 50% field goal shooting here.
But only 4 points so far here in the second half after going off for 12 in the first 2 quarters. But his team has been doing well. Now leading by 8 against the Cuyas, who once led by 15 in this game. Actually, a high of 16
Yeah.
for the Cuyas.
Aaron Acop off the timeout scores plus a foul.
I think Acop has been more passive than aggressive sa laro na to. Deferring a lot to his teammates, trying to make sure that the flow continues sa kanilang opensa. But I think it's high time that he too tries to make himself some shots in this game, especially here in this fourth quarter at naghahabol rin sila. 5 ang hinahabol ng Cuyas.
Jan Baltasar. Achi Inigo. Guarded by Sabelina and Humawas. Cedillo. Matagal masyado yung pasa, but a counter steal. Achi stops on the dime, left it short. Now he relocates, finds Jan Baltasar, who got smothered, but his perseverance was rewarded with that reverse layup.
Yeah, multiple efforts paying off there for the young legs of the Manila Batang Quiapo, beating the Cuyas to every loose ball on that possession.
Monte sasaksak. At bola mapupunta sa panig ng Manila.
We were talking about how experience has been outplaying the youth for the most part sa laro na to. But here in the second half, it's been the reverse of that. The Manila Batang Quiapo have been giving the business to the Bulacan Cuyas, especially here in the third and fourth quarters.
7-point lead. John Baltasar thought about it. Passes it out to Achi. Inigo in traffic. And nowhere to pass to. Turnover against Manila.
Terrible spacing in the half court. First of all, Inigo drove into the lane. Baltazar was there. That's why the defense was there to try and rotate. Wala rin naman siya mapasahan doon sa kabila because Gomez Deliano was a little bit higher in the corner rather than deep as Apop. Ito na nga yung sinasabi ko kanina. This might be a good time for him to look for his shots.
Beginning to heat up here. 12 points for Aaron Apop. Bonus free throw coming up. First miss from the free throw line after 4 attempts. But still, trimming this gap to 5, 89-84. That's the 10th assist from Achi Inigo as Jan Baltasar scores for Manila.
He's 2 rebounds away from a triple-double sa laro na to.
10, 8, and 10. Reverse layup from Maclean Sabelina, who now has 18 markers. 91-86. Under 6 minutes remaining here in the fourth period. Alexis Himan also has 8 assists. Achi fires. No. And Subido comes away with it. Aaron Ako up too strong on that 3-point attempt. Achi now. Skip pass to Joe. Drives baseline. Deleano. Alfred Cedillo. Count it plus a foul. Pushing foul against Bulacan.
Oh, here's the miss by Joe GDL. But Cedillo there in one motion, able to get the rebound and the putback. That's why that shot counted there for the former Bacolod player. Cedillo now slowly putting up the points here in the fourth quarter for the Batang Quiapo.
A total of 19 from Alfred Cedillo. 94-86. Sumido can't hit the free. Sabelina with offensive board. One-hander. Clanks off the rim. Alexis Himan now. Skip pass. Joe Gomez Deleano with a free.
Hindi pa rin po siya tapos dito mga kaliga. Joe Gomez Deliano continuing to ensure Manila's chance to get the victory here this afternoon.
33 puntos. Galing kay Joe GDL. Celso. Short stop will roll in.
There's still a lot of time in this game, but I'm not liking the body language I'm seeing right now from the Cuyas. A little bit lethargic, a little bit slower to react to what the offense has been giving them. Again, Cedillo able to find a crease in the defense.
This is the game brought to you by 1xBet, title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
For a team that only has been averaging 22 assists per game this season, Manila now with 35 times in this game. The bulk of that coming from both Himan and Inigo.
Could be a season high as well for Manila. 188. Marlon Monte rejected by Alfred Cedillo. Joe is open again. That time a miss. Cedinho can't get it to go. He falls down as he's helped up by J.R. Sobino. Bulacan is behind by 12 points. Aaron Acop ang magdadala ng bola para sa Bulacan. Nakasona pa rin ang Manila. Sumido runs into traffic and was bailed out by that foul by John Baltasar.
This zone has baited Bulacan into shooting threes more than usual, especially here in the fourth quarter. Bulacan's only 7 out of 30 from beyond the arc sa laro na to. Kaya lang, penalty na dito ang Manila. This could be something that the Kuyas can take advantage of, especially with some terrific free throw shooters in tow sa laro na to, sa loob ng court with Sumido and Acop right there along with Marlon Monte.
Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Sumido sinks in the second free throw. Decoy Lopez nagbabalik para sa Manila. 190. Lead to up to 10. Or sorry, down to 10 after those free throws. Cedillo spins. Bounce pass inside. Really tight, but Alexis Heman able to maneuver and put it in.
Now, if you've been paying attention to the trends offensively ng bawat kupunan dito, you see that Manila is so much more aggressive in attacking the paint. A lot more paint touches compared to the Kuyas here at this point of the fourth quarter. And now, another leak out.
Achi Nigo, 12 points. 104 to 90. Marlon Monte lays it in.
That previous to that, Manila's interior defense has been successfully slowing down Marlon Monte's layup attempts.
Alexis Heman backing down Aaron Acop. Lopez, extra pass. Joe Gomez de Leaño misses. Aaron Acop. Sumido, nakabuelo. JR, Mintes, Celso. Na-foul si Joseph Celso doon ni Decoy Lopez.
Crucial free throws now coming up para kay Joseph Celso. I didn't mind the miss galing kay Joe Gomez de Leaño. In fact, I liked the extra pass that was delivered by Decoy Lopez, who could have took the shot for himself, but was decided that he would go to the hotter hand in this game in Joe Gomez de Leaño. But looks like there's going to be a D here issued against Bulacan.
JR Sumido was teed up for unsportsmanlike behavior. Achi Nigo capitalizes, knocking down the free throw. Celso at the line. His team down by 13 points. Celso missing the first free throw. 13 out of 21 are the Bulacan Kuyas at the line. Makes good on the second. 105-93. Alexis Heman. Ball in his hands. Backdoor cut by Achi. Kick out. Decoy. No hesitation. Was fouled. Initial call is an unsportsmanlike foul as Joseph Celso with a reckless closeout.
Now that's a surprising call. Pero tingnan nga natin kung talagang na-violate ni Joseph Celso yung landing spot. Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Decoy lost his footing. And
Yeah,
it
that's the right
is
call.
an unsportsmanlike foul.
Sometimes it's really tough to see it from live view. That's why referees are there. And that's why there is a replay option, especially in calls like that, which helps us really determine what the right call is, especially para sa ating mga referee. Very important that our players are well taken care of inside the court, even though this is a highly physical sport, a high contact sport.
Free throws plus ball possession. Decoy Lopez missing the first free throw. Former JRU heavy bomber, Decoy Lopez. Pasok yung pangalawa.
And the only player from last year's roster to stay with this franchise.
Yeah. Has been part of the highs and lows of this Manila team. Naging bahagi din siya, no? Prior to the pandemic. Played with the likes of Chris Bitoon with Manila. Decoy, pupukol sa tres. Rebound number 9 by Achi, who banks it in. One rebound short of a triple-double.
There just doesn't seem to be that same sense of urgency for Bulacan. The way that we were able to witness it during the first 2 quarters. Manila giving them a dose of their own medicine here. It's been really a change of roles dito sa ating second half.
Aaron Akop behind the back. The pass to Gino Humawas. Floats it up and in. But the lead is still at 12 points. Pagkalinawan will check in for Alexis Himan.
Now that's an interesting substitution.
Yeah. Because Himan has done a great job of orchestrating for Manila.
Wow, both Himan and Cedillo out on an offensive possession with still a minute and 20 remaining.
Achi will bury that free.
Okay, that justifies it. I have nothing to say.
Achi Inigo ay kasalukuyang may 18 puntos. Joe will put it in, 35 markers for Joe Gomez de Leaño, who is now cramping up. Oops. Pagkalinawan and Sumido getting entangled. Pagkalinawan also visibly upset.
Welcome to the MPBL, young man.
Dahil siya yung tinamaan doon. As Jer Sumido made a swing on him.
Although we will definitely never condone any that similar type of act that J.R. Sumido did, you know, yung pagtama niya doon, no? It is also very important that, especially the young players, you know, that despite what these kinds of players do to them, importante rin na they try to control their emotions. Dahil ano ba sinasabi natin? Usually, ang pikon talo. Again, we don't condone any of those kinds of actions na ginawa ni J.R. Sumido, pero importante para sa mga batang pumapasok dito that you should be able to keep your cool because pag bumawi ka, ikaw rin madadamay ka.
He is ejected. He has 5 fouls anyway, but he has incurred 2 technical fouls. He had one earlier for an unsportsmanlike behavior.
Yes.
Earlier in the 4th quarter.
And what a pity that is, you know, to come out of the game with 58.9 seconds remaining. Still a little sliver of hope left for your team. You're one of the more reliable shooters for your squad, and you're gonna have to watch your team maybe lose this game.
Gawix Gonzaga now has 7 points. Ngayon na lang binalik ulit ito, no, after having a good stretch earlier in the 3rd period. 114-98. 50 seconds remaining. Manila with a win here, they will tie Bulacan in the team standings, but they will be perched at the 14th spot with the win over the other. So at least, meron silang bragging rights, no, of not finishing at the bottom. Decoy, naipasok yung unang free throw. Bulacan had that 16-point lead in the third period, but it has dissipated with Joe Gomez de Leano, Achi Inigo, Alfred Cedillo combining forces for Manila.
Those three guys, they formed the bulk of the scoring for Manila here in the second half, but you gotta give the other guys their flowers too. Alexis Heman coming into the game and making sure that everybody had a share of the pie. Red Eusebio also had his moments. Decoy Lopez coming in and playing good interior defense, and then at some point during the latter part of this quarter being given the opportunity to score himself. And then there was also Toralba, who was a spark off the bench para sa Batang Quiapo.
At dyan po nagtatapos ang ating unang laro. Manila prevailing over Bulacan, winning this one by 17 points after they trailed by 16 earlier in the third period. And a lot of heroes. Well, it's National Hero Day, but this guy was the biggest hero of them all. Best player of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
O simula pa lang, Joe was already going to work. Had a lot of runouts in transition. Was able to get back down and beat the Kuyas down the floor. He was really working hard, and it continued for the entire game. From start to finish, Joe Gomez de Leano was brilliant on his birthday.
I wonder if his parents know how many points their son had today. Our final score, 98 for Bulacan, 115 for Manila. Let's go courtside to Lyra Punsalan.
Joe, congratulations, riding high from your birthday high and today playing your MPBL career high performance. Kwento mo naman, what kept you extra motivated today?
I mean, besides my birthday, I do this for the people supporting us from Manila, my family, and yeah.
And you just ended your 6-game losing streak for Manila. May mga key takeaways ka ba from your victory today that you would like to bring for your remaining matchups? And of course, as you prepare, of course, to defend your championship rights for the All-Stars Slam Dunk competition.
Yeah, of course, since we just came from a lose streak, you know, we're a young team. I hope that we keep getting better together and get more wins. And as for the Slam Dunk, I hope you guys are ready to watch. I got something coming for you guys.
Do you have any more greetings or special mentions?
Yes, first I'd like to thank God. I'd also like to shout out to my family for always being there, my brothers, my sister, my relatives, my girlfriend, to Boss Raymond Ang, Boss Emilio Chu, to Jose Canlas, Batang 641, Coach Bang, and RJ Dimento, and Gulia.
Congratulations, Joe Gomez de Leano of the Manila Batang Quiapo. Our best player of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Lyra. Congratulations to Manila, earning their third victory here against Bulacan. Coming up next, the Basilan Star Horse and the Ilagan Isabela 5-Star Cowboys will meet in a very important showdown here in our second game. Wag po kayong maalis. Magbabalik pa po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.